Phantom Liberty is yet another example of CD Projekt proving they're the masters of branching narratives in gaming, not only providing a wide array of decisions for you to make, but also limiting them all to something the character you're playing as would actually do, thereby making a branching narrative a lot more satisfying story to enjoy. Because I've been binging it lately, when we compare Baldur's Gate 3's choices to Cyberpunk in terms of options, BG3 blows it out of the water. In fact, I dare say that BG3 is the most impressive literary feat in interactive media history. But across the thousands of possible storylines I can forge for myself, none of them are particularly compelling. Instead, the fact that the game supports so many options is what's impressive, rather than the narrative itself. Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk always make sure that the decisions are something Geralt or V would actually do, rather than doing something hilarious but stupid like Tav can in BG3. And that's why CD Projekt are the masters of branching stories, as they combine interactivity from the player while still having to follow the realistic actions of the protagonist. But like my Cyberpunk Life Path video, one of these endings in Phantom Liberty is a lot more satisfying for V and what the character would actually do. What I love about deciding on the best ending for Phantom Liberty is that, like the espionage spy thriller it is, the choice ultimately comes down to who you trust more, So-Mi or Reed. Now, many people will lean towards So-Mi, because she has the best intentions of wanting to live and escape her life working for the government. While Reed is a man on a mission and loyal to the cause, he also has a deep desire to protect So-Mi. Now, if the Cyberpunk universe has taught us anything, it's that the big powerful groups like corporations, or the government in this case, aren't to be trusted, so Reed is someone you should avoid getting close to. And So-Mi has no alternate objectives she's hiding. She's in the same position that V is and just wants to keep living. But by observing both their actions across Phantom Liberty, it's relatively easy to conclude which of these characters genuinely has V's best intentions at heart, and that's Reed, because So-Mi's actions and behaviour make it impossible to trust her. From the very beginning of the expansion, So-Mi has manipulated, schemed, and lied to us all to make the pieces fall in place for her, playing us, Reed, and Hansen. And her intentions aren't necessarily noble, in fact they're quite selfish desires. Now, wanting to live isn't a crime, but putting other people at risk so you can continue to live is. So, with all the lies and games she's playing, any critical thinker should assume she's hiding something from us. And of course, they'd be right, as it turns out there's only one cure and that she never intended to give it to V. Meanwhile, Reed is as honest as a man in his profession can be. Yes, he's a spy, but he does genuinely care whether his teammates live or die, and that includes you as well as So-Mi. So out of the 4 endings of what makes the most sense for V to do, we can cross out any option that involves helping So-Mi and Firestarter, as she's proven time and time again that she can't be trusted. So we're left with the final choice in the game. Do you let So-Mi live when you're down in the Militech bunker? Now, while I just explained why So-Mi isn't someone you should ever trust, none of what I described makes her a villain, and it would be unimaginably cruel to deny her final request and let her live. And I don't think any path in Cyberpunk is geared towards V being a sociopath, because they're a good person, and So-Mi is a more selfish reflection of V, who wants to live, but unlike V, will stop at nothing to get her cure. But there's a more significant reason why I think you should let So-Mi die in that bunker, rather than the moral implications for your character. I don't think the main story's alternate ending is a satisfying solution and shouldn't be canon in my mind. The new main story ending introduced in Phantom Liberty is only unlockable if you give So-Mi to the government, and while that's a horrible thing to do, as the punishment for So-Mi's actions don't fit the crime of being returned to her abusers, the ending of Cyberpunk 2077's main story is ruined by Phantom Liberty's new conclusion. Across all the endings of the base game in Cyberpunk, you could never definitively save V. You could make their last few months on Earth a lot happier, but you couldn't ever cure them of the relic's poisoning. But no matter what ending you chose, other than suicide, it all culminated in a war on Arasaka, which is what all Cyberpunk endings should lead towards, the destruction of corporations. But in Phantom Liberty, you're robbed of that chance, and simply receive surgery to cure yourself of the relic, and go on living an everyday life. That's really anticlimactic, but my larger problem is that the game has introduced a new way for V to live, which was never intended. I love there was no easy fix for V's problems, and that they always have to face the Reaper. CD Projekt never wrote a way for V to live in the base game, so it doesn't make sense for them to do so now. It goes against the original idea behind Cyberpunk's ending, that it's a shitty world and we've all got to live in it together, but depending on our choices and the people we love, it can become a whole lot less shitty. So getting back to Phantom Liberty, I don't think V should have the option to live, and they don't deserve to live if they're cruel enough to hand So-Mi back over to the government. So the most satisfying ending for Phantom Liberty, and the one that makes the most sense, is to help Reed capture So-Mi, but ultimately let her drift off and free her from the curse of the Black Wall and the NUSA.